Welcome to the Torch Academy. Today we're talking about life after selling, identity, purpose, and what comes next. For decades, your answer to the question, "What do you do?" has been, "I own this business." Your identity got woven into the business. Your daily rhythm was built around the business. Most of your friendships came through the business. Your sense of being competent, useful, needed, that came from solving problems in the business. Then one day, the business is gone. You have more money than you've ever had, and at the same time, you've lost something you can't quite put into words. That feeling is real. It's completely normal, and you're not the only one going through it, even though most sellers don't talk about it openly. More than 60% of business sellers experience depression after the sale, often in the first 6 to 12 months, even when the financial outcome was better than they'd hoped for. That's not weakness. And it's not ingratitude. It's a documented psychological pattern that shows up over and over in sellers. Knowing it's common doesn't make it go away, but it does take some of the shame out of it. If you're feeling it, you're not broken. You're experiencing what most people in your position experience. There are 4 real losses underneath that post-sale depression, and it helps to name them. First, loss of routine. Your days were structured around the business, and suddenly that scaffolding is gone. Second, loss of purpose. You spent years solving hard problems and building something, and now your main job is managing money, which feels smaller. Third, loss of social connections. Most of your friendships probably had roots in the business, and when you leave, those relationships shift. And fourth, loss of competence. You were the expert in your business, and in whatever comes next, you're a beginner again. Nobody frames selling as a loss, but in several very real ways, that's exactly what it is. What you're going through is, in the truest sense, grief. Grief for an identity that's gone. And like any grief, it follows a cycle. Denial comes first. I'm fine, the sale is great, nothing's wrong. Then anger. Why do I feel this empty? I should be happy. Then bargaining. Maybe I should buy another business. Maybe I should unretire. Then depression. What's the point of any of it? And finally, acceptance. Most sellers cycle through this over 6 to 18 months. That timeline varies. The cycle doesn't. It's not pathological. It's the normal process of letting go of something that was a huge part of who you were. By month 3, most sellers start describing themselves as bored. Your brain is used to processing complexity, making high-stakes decisions, and solving new problems every day. Golf and travel and sleeping can lose their novelty pretty quickly. You catch yourself picking up industry news, checking in on your old company, maybe even reaching out to the new owner with advice. What's actually happening there is withdrawal. Your brain needs engagement and challenge. It's not a character flaw. It's how you're wired. The danger is that boredom becomes the gateway to bad decisions. Buying another business on impulse, making reckless investments, jumping into something you're not ready for. The first step is recognizing the boredom for what it is. These aren't soft suggestions. They actually rebuild the parts of your identity that went away with the business. Volunteering on boards, whether that's a nonprofit, a professional association, or a community organization, puts you back in rooms where your judgment matters. Mentoring younger business owners lets you pass on hard-won knowledge and keeps you close to the texture of building something. Paid consulting or advisory work lets you stay sharp and earn a little on top. And taking a real course in something you've never studied gives you both new learning and a new community. The common thread is engagement. You're giving your brain something to work on, and you're meeting people who didn't know you as the founder of your old business. James sold his IT consulting firm for $12 million at age 54. 6 months in, he was depressed and bored out of his mind. On a friend's recommendation, he joined the advisory board of a mid-market logistics company. Unpaid, just a few hours a month. That led to 2 more advisory roles within a year. Now, at 58, James sits on 4 boards. earns about $40,000 to $50,000 a year in advisory fees and retainers, has deep relationships with other founder operators, and feels genuinely purposeful again. He didn't go back to full-time work. He didn't start another company. He just stayed engaged. Purpose after selling doesn't have to mean building something new. Sometimes it means lending the experience you already have. There's no single right path after selling, so it helps to know the options. The advisory or board route lets you leverage your expertise part-time while staying engaged with other operators. The interim period, giving yourself explicit permission to not have a plan for 12 months, is valid and more common than people admit. The mentor route puts you alongside younger founders, teaching and consulting, passing on what you learned. And the second act, starting a new business, buying a franchise, moving into a different industry entirely, is the path for sellers who truly have another chapter in them. Different personalities need different things. None of these is better than the others. The itch to do it again is strongest between months 6 and 12 after the sale. And it feels so productive. You've got capital, you've got experience, you know you can build something. But here's the catch. Right now, you're either running towards something specific, like a market opportunity you've been watching for years, or you're running away from boredom and identity loss. Those look identical from the inside, but they lead to completely different outcomes. A business bought in the fog of boredom usually becomes a regret. A business bought with real clarity usually becomes a win. Give yourself the time to tell the difference. Before you act on any new venture, work through these questions honestly. What problem am I actually trying to solve? Am I running towards something specific, or am I running away from boredom? Do I want this business, or do I just miss the identity of being a founder? Can I genuinely afford to lose the money? Those are the emotional clarity questions, and then watch for the red flags. Rushing the decision because it felt good in the moment, basing it on emotion or on something you feel you have to prove, an unwillingness to truly risk the capital, and everyone close to you quietly discouraging it. When those flags start stacking up, your subconscious usually already knows the answer. Here's what sellers who've made it through the transition consistently recommend. Take your time. If you're struggling with depression, see a therapist. There's no shame in it, and it genuinely helps. Reconnect with family and friends who existed outside your working life. Travel when you actually want to, not because you feel you should. Volunteer, mentor, read. Let yourself be bored for a while, because boredom has a strange way of surfacing what you actually want versus what you've always done. If, by month 12, you're still circling the idea of a new venture, take a serious look at it then. By that point, you'll know whether it's real clarity or leftover restlessness. The honest takeaway: almost every seller underestimates the emotional impact of no longer being a business owner. The loss of routine, purpose, and identity is real. The sellers who transition successfully are the ones who plan their next chapter with the same intentionality they brought to building their business. Start thinking about what's next before you close. Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, head over to torchapp.io/signup and create your free account. Torch uses AI to help you navigate buying or selling a small business. Whether you're just exploring or ready to make a move, we can help. And don't forget to subscribe for more episodes from the Torch Academy.